Welcome to qualifying here in Interlagos as the cars are readying up for what's likely to be a very important session. Well, Red Bull have done well here in the past, but this year they'll definitely have competition for that top spot. No team has it all their own way forever.
The high-speed nature of this track suits the cars with the best aerodynamic behaviour, which is why Red Bull have had such success here in recent years. They won't have it all their own way today though. I expect a real battle for the front row.
What is going on, everybody, and welcome to episode 18 of 19 of Button Bounces Back. Today, that is right, it's the penultimate episode of the entire series. We've just got the Brazilian Grand Prix to go, which is today's episode, and then the final one is the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix, which should be out later this week, touch wood. But Brazil is a track that I think everyone that does F1 and various other racing games knows pretty well. It's been on the circuit for a long time, and it's a track that's sort of, it's very hit and miss with the McLaren, because you've got the nice weavy section in the centre that you're about to see us going into that we're pretty quick around, but then there's a decent straight at the end, and there's also a decent straight at the start, which is a bit of a... In fact, it's all the same straight, you just sort of enter it towards the end of the lap, and it carries on through to the start of it. But before we go any further, if you are still enjoying the series, it would be awesome if you could leave a thumbs up on the video and subscribe if you are new around here. After all, we are still competing for that 6th place finish in the Drivers' Championship, and it is close as everything. Jensen needs your support. Anyway, today's video, like I say, is the penultimate one. It's been an absolute joy to do this series. I just wanted to say a big thank you to everyone that's been supporting it throughout. And like I say, to be honest, other than FIFA, I think this may well be the only series of a different game that I will actually finish since I started the channel. I've done various other bits and bobs, but this will be the only one that I'm going to finish, I think, which is pretty nice. And I will be doing that Ricardo one as well when this one is finished. But as you can see, I've been rambling on while we've been qualifying, and we actually qualified in a magnificent 5th place, just behind the Ferraris and the Mercedes, as you would expect, ahead of our ahead of our championship rival, Felipe Massa. But let's let the commentators paint the scene again, lads.
Welcome to Sao Paulo, which has been host to Formula One races since 1973. Sit back and relax for what's going to be a fantastic Brazilian Grand Prix. With over 30 P1s to his name, Lewis Hamilton's already one of the most successful pole sitters in Formula One history. Well, he's added to that impressive tally this weekend, and today he'll be hoping he can add another win to his record as well.
His work isn't done yet. He still needs to take the advantage of being on pole and turn it into a race win. As long as he has no mechanical issues and can stay out of trouble in that first corner, he could make this the perfect weekend.
Daniel Kvyat will hope that the DRS problems that he suffered earlier in the weekend are now behind him. Otherwise, it could be a very long Grand Prix for him today.
There was a scary point when it came open just before turn 6, and Daniel was lucky to catch the car, or he could have been a passenger heading towards the barriers. The team have said they've since resolved the issue, so hopefully he'll be fine today.
So everybody, you can see we're sitting on the grid, and we went with strategy number 2 this time. Now, before the lights go out, or while the lights go out I should say, strategy 2 is the one where you start on the slower tyre and finish on the quick tyre, and I actually had a massive balls up. I think it was in the Russian, no, not the Russian Grand Prix, Mexico, was it? I can't remember, but I basically had a race where I did the strategy, I pitted when I shouldn't have done it. It was USA, that's the Grand Prix it was the USA Grand Prix. They told me to come in, and I shouldn't have done. And everyone put in the comments basically, if you're on strategy 2, just ignore what your pit crew say. Come in when it says that you should, when you pick the strategy at the start, because they always seem to call you in early. Just ignore that, go in and make sure you change your tyre to options so it will become just a one-stop strategy. So I thought, you know what, after I ballsed it up last time, it did seem to have its merits when we've used it well in the past. So I thought I'd do it again, and as you can see, we have an absolutely blinding start, all the way up to 3rd place as we enter the start of this sort of windy complex, 4th, I'm about to go into 3rd though, and I'm about to jump into 2nd as well. I had a Hamilton. Yeah, but this complex of corners here, we actually seem to have really decent pace around, and bearing in mind at this point as well, we are on the slower tyre. To be all the way up to 2nd place from 5th before the first lap's even out is an absolutely outstanding start. But where's Rosberg gone? Rosberg has just left everyone for bloody dust. It is absolutely crazy. He had an absolutely incredible start. I mean, we had a good start, but Rosberg, I don't know if he qualified on pole or Hamilton did, I can't remember now, but his first lap was absolutely blinding, and I don't think anyone else actually saw him for the entire race. He absolutely dominated. But going on to lap 3, and you're going to see a little pattern forming here. This time, for the first time I should say, it's Raikkonen that takes us over, going into the corner after that long straight. The DRS has now been enabled, of course, because we're on lap 3. Raikkonen flies past, we jump forward to lap 4. This time it is Sebastian Vettel that's going to fly past us. And for the next 2 laps, we basically get passed by one car on that straight every single goddamn time. And it's just the lack of pace in the McLaren that I seem to be mentioning all the time. We were able to like match the computer's pace all the way around the track, but because they've got these 2 long straights back to back, they were just reeling us in. And like literally every lap that would go by, we just lose a position to that straight, which is absolutely frustrating as anything. And as you can see, there's another one we're now on lap 6, and it's our championship rival Massa that goes fastest and knocks us back into 6th. The advantage we've got still, however, like I said before, is that we are on the slower tyre. And you'll start to see now a few other people pitting in. Ricciardo had just passed us, then he pulls into the pits, and we get a couple of positions back there up to 5th place as we go into lap 9. Our strategy, our time that we needed to be pitting was around lap 10, going on to 11. Perhaps a little bit later depending on the state of the tyres, but that was what I was aiming for. So I was going to do another couple of laps then pitting, but you can see we're all the way up to 5th place after that little couple of cars pitted in there. We've come round again, still in 5th place, and another few cars are pitted in, and you'll see now the extent of to how far ahead Nico Rosberg is in this Grand Prix, because we're in 5th place. We fly past a couple of cars on the left in the pits, still in 5th, but I think we're coming around this corner now. Yeah, we're up to 3rd now. We've got someone else in the corner, but you can see on the map in the bottom left hand corner, Nico Rosberg is out of the pits and on his way, and he's done his pit stop as well, and we still haven't even got anywhere near him. That's the lead that he had. It was absolutely crazy. But we come into the pits now, still in 2nd place, like 10 of 18, and this pit straight, lads, seems so bloody long. We drop back into 3rd straight away. Kimi Räikkönen just flies past us, and I do think the 2 straights really cost us in this race. Because like I say, you'll see on the lap times in the end, the computer are literally like a tiny bit quicker than me, and it's all because of the bloody straights. But you can see we drop back into 6th. Massa has passed us while we're in the pits, which is very frustrating because, of course, as I've mentioned already, he's the person we're competing with the most, him and Ricciardo. But the pit exit takes bloody ages. We come out in 6th place, and it's a very dull race, to be honest, lads, because other than that, nothing else particularly happens too much. Nothing too major anyway. We're going to jump forward now to lap 17 of 18. And I think it's Valtteri Bottas, the other Williams driver, has some sort of engine blowout, which means we can jump up to 5th, and Massa's still ahead of us in 4th. But it was very similar to, I think it was the Mexican Grand Prix, where we had the quick tyre for the second half. We absolutely, I think it was Massa as well in that example, we had Massa in front of us. We reeled him in and reeled him in and reeled him in, but we couldn't quite get close enough, and then our tyres started falling off, and we ended up defending a little bit, and it was Ricciardo in 6th place behind us. He's not really threatening, but he gets closer and closer and closer. We still finished pretty comfortably in 5th place, but if there was another couple of laps added on, then he may well have caught up in the end. It's hard to say though, with obviously, you know, we took the foot off the gas because we knew we weren't going to be particularly catching up with Massa at this point, and the gap was enough to be taking it easy, especially with the tyres being so worn. I didn't want any sort of tyre blowouts. And by the way, Brazil is a bloody solid track to manage the tyres on. That's one thing I will say. I don't know what it is about the track, but it's very, very difficult to manage the tyres. You can see Nico Rosberg crossing the line for the checkered flag, absolutely streets ahead of anyone else in this Grand Prix. Like I say, he absolutely dominated from start to finish. But we're going to watch the entire last lap. You can see Ricciardo sort of closing us in, but still not anywhere near close enough to be making the pass. We come around this little corner here, then take this left-hander, which is one of the more difficult corners on the track, I think. I think it's very easy to go wide, as I do a little bit there. But we come onto this straight that we've been punished on for the entire race, comfortably in 5th place. And I think this is probably the first time in the series, I'm pretty sure, believe it or not, correct me if I'm wrong, that we finished in the same place that we qualified. We always, sorry I knocked the mic there, we either seem to gain a few places or lose a few places. We never ever finish where we qualified, and that's the first in the penultimate race. But you can see Felipe Massa in 4th does get the points on us. And look at the gap for Rosberg to Kimi Räikkönen, 10 seconds. I thought it was bigger than that actually, but 10 seconds is still a pretty sizable lead. Vettel in 3rd, Massa of course our championship rival in 4th, but thankfully we did finish ahead of Ricciardo, which means he's not gaining any ground on us. But look what situation that leaves the Drivers' Championship in, lads. We've got one race to go, it's Abu Dhabi, and me and Felipe Massa are level on bloody points. I'm still in 6th place. I don't know if it's on alphabetical order because of Button, Massa or whatever, but we're still ahead of him technically, but that will not be the case. Also, Rosberg's taken over Lewis Hamilton. He's only 6 points clear at the top of the table now, and the difference between 1st and 2nd place in a race, points wise, is 7 points. So whoever wins out of Lewis Hamilton basically needs to win the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix to take the championship. Rosberg just needs to finish ahead of him effectively, and like I say, we're locked to level with Felipe Massa. It really has all come down to the last race, which you will see later this week. I couldn't write it. It's been an absolutely amazing season, and hopefully you'll be able to tune into that last episode to see how it all pans out. Like I said before, if you did enjoy the video, leave a thumbs up and subscribe if you're new, and I'll speak to you all next time. Nidge out. Oh, it was nearly 1-1. We've actually got a throw. Let me go forward. Get out of it. No, 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 no. Oh, God, this is going to be two. This is going to be two.